Last week, we talked about the true meaning of the word apocalypse, that it isn't the end of the world, but the end of an illusion. And not only is the illusion crumbling in our psyche and our worldview, it's crumbling in our 3D reality, in our systems, and in our traumatized pasts. Seeing the signs is one thing, but knowing how to flourish through one, that's the real work. And these 6 signs can help you do just that. Hi, Wounded Healers. I'm Brian Hogan, life coach, filmmaker, and clinical therapist. Welcome to another Wellness Wednesday, your weekly oasis at the intersection of creativity and well-being. Today, we're exploring 6 more signs that you're living through the apocalypse and how to flourish amidst the chaos. Check out last week's video to explore the first 5 signs in more detail. And we are kicking off this video with sign number 6, hunger pangs for truth and freedom. I'm noticing in myself, my clients, and my relationships a deeper hunger and longing for truth and spiritual freedom. I mean, the soul wants truth more than it wants comfort, and it's willing to dismantle anything that blocks it. And we used to always want comfort more. Now there's more of a yearning for truth than for comfort. So we're taking off that itchy sweater that somebody else told us to wear, and we're asking, what actually fits on me? Examples of this are the psychedelic renaissance and ayahuasca, MDMA, psilocybin, ketamine, grief rituals, positivity around death, breaking spiritual taboos. There's this big return of indigenous wisdom and a desire to learn more about it. Plant medicine, ceremonial knowledge, spiritual technologies like breathwork, yoga, ancestral recognition, soul retrieval. This preference for embodied mysticism over doctrine-based empty, false beliefs is starting to rise, continuing to rise. And I feel that inside me. I'm sure some of you guys feel that too. Sign number 7, the call to serve beyond the self. This is a big one for me. That's why this YouTube channel exists for me at all, because of sign number 7, where the individual ego is kind of cracking open and the soul wants to contribute. It wants to. That's what we want to do. The more healed we are, the more we want to give back. And so you stop wanting to play solo and you want to kind of join the band. You realize you're already part of something bigger, so why not make it official? You want to show up now, whatever that means for you. That doesn't mean you have to be a group person. It's a community thing. You can still be doing your work solo. But we see this happening all around, all over the place, like mutual aid networks rising up, especially post-disaster. There's also creatives shifting to soul-led businesses and community healing rather than just trying to make a splash with their art. You know what I mean? Like that's the old paradigm. Just oh, I must find a museum to believe in me. Actually, no, you can create your own thing. You can give of your art immediately. Emergence of spiritual entrepreneurship, coaches, healers, breathwork, guides. I'm evidence of this. I'm trying to do this. Climate activism as a sacred duty, not just a political statement. And there's an interest in transpersonal psychology and missions of the soul gaining so much momentum as well. Are you noticing the pull to give back or show up in some way to help nudge this shift along? Lean into your curiosity around that. Sign number 8, the truth, the whole truth, and something with the truth. Reckoning. This is seen in collective reckonings and truth-telling movements all over. These are a major sign of the apocalypse. The collective shadow is being dragged into the light for healing and justice. Everyone's standing up and saying, ooh, that was not okay. That's the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter, calls for reparations and land back movements, the decolonization of institutions, truth and reconciliation style commissions becoming public models, public apologies, call-outs, cancel culture, and other imperfect forms of accountability. These are all on the rise because it's time. It's time to see the truth squarely for what it is, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then let it set us free. Things our ancestors got wrong, we can still make right. That's not Hallmark. That's not trite. That's what's going to be required. Sign number 9, the mirror of AI. In this synthetic consciousness, our technology is forcing us to confront the question, what does it really mean to be human? Because it's like we built a robot that looks and acts kind of like us, but it's also creepy. So, what do we do with that? Examples of this are ChatGPT, language learning models, all that stuff. And then that brings up things like deepfakes. And there's another example of this. We can't even trust what we see. So because we can't trust what we see, we have to go deep within. So the more truth that's revealed out there, the more it forces us to say, oh, I got to find my own truth because the information out here isn't reliable. That's the truth we're learning. The broader truth we're learning is that the information out there is not reliable, which is going to make us go deep, 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 deep inside to find the truth, deep in our core. The power of discernment, the sword of discrimination, as it's called in yoga texts. They talk about this is within us because humans have an inborn ability to detect a lie. But that's been squashed so far out of us by culture that we don't even realize it anymore. You sometimes do when someone's talking to you and they're telling you some nonsense story and you can just sense it's bull. But we have this ability all the time. We're just so programmed that we forget. So that's coming back. We're able to sort of see that more because AI is holding up this mirror and reminding us we are more than what it is. But what more exactly? The apocalypse will reveal it. Sign number 10, the transparent curtains. This is what we mean when we hear people say the veil is thinning. There are more and more reports of psychic sensitivity, more spiritual phenomenon, more near-death experiences being talked about. It's becoming more mundane to have mystical stuff happen to you, and the materialist worldview is cracking as a result of this. It's like the radio is picking up new stations. You're tuning into different signals, dreams, gut feelings, energy fields, hunches. They were always there. Like the ability to detect a lie was always there. But now they're clear, suddenly much clearer. Other examples of this are like surges in dream interpretation. Even IFS, human design, astrology, they're all modern uses of soul maps. They're collective spiritual downloads during events, full moons, and stuff like that. That's all happening more. So there's a rising sense among the population that something bigger is unfolding. And it's true, there is. It's an apocalypse. And then finally, the last sign, the biggest one, the one that has the most external cracking of things for us, is sign number 11, the collapse of systems and institutions. This outer scaffolding is falling away. The myths, the rules, the authorities that shaped the old world are losing legitimacy. But it is not the end. It is the opportunity to reimagine everything. The old building has cracks in the walls. No one fixed them for far too long, and it's coming down. It's going to collapse. So we must let it collapse and then build something new. Examples of this happening already are religious disaffiliation at historic highs, like a lot of people just saying, none, check, no, I'm not affiliated, no, thank you. There's a lot less trust in political parties. There's a loss of trust in the police, in media, in medicine. Public education has a crisis. There's teacher shortages and student walkouts, bank failures, market instability, housing crisis, global debates about the legitimacy of democracy. Capitalism in the West as a concept is being talked through and dismantled. And then there's the imminent collapse of the actual dollar. At the same time, those institutions are collapsing, there is a new kind of organizational structure on the rise, one built on voluntary cooperation instead of force, like homeschooling pods, regenerative farms, new economies, spiritual cooperatives. So there is that. It's this collapsing and rebuilding happening at the same time. So just let those signs sit with you. Between part 1 last week and part 2 this week, those are 11 signs that we are inside this apocalypse right now. But on the other side of that, it's so beautiful. Which of these 11 signs hit most home for you? Let me know in the comments. And so what do we do with all of this information? First of all, just know you're not crazy. You're inside an apocalypse. But how do you handle it? Well, you develop an inner practice. When systems fail, listen deeper. I was kind of alluding to this earlier, that we have to create an inner sanctuary. Journal, meditate, find your space in nature, even if it's only inside you. Also, you could become a revealer. If this feels like a calling for you or resonates, then just tell the truth more. But the thing is, whatever we practice in regular life is going to be what we default to when there's a crisis. So as this crisis continues to ramp up and things continue to collapse, you want to have a practice of staying calm, a practice of thinking clearly, a practice of being rooted in the truth of who you really are. So create, connect, organize, bring it. Bring it out there in whatever way you feel called to do. And just make sure that as you do this, and as you go through this apocalypse, that you're so kind and so self-gentle, because what looks like a collapse is actually a clearing of the way. And each sign of this apocalypse points to something real. As something collapses or falls away, we see the truth behind it. So the apocalypse is not the death of meaning, it's the rebirth of meaning. This is not the end of the story. We're turning the page on the story. In mental health circles, we know that seeing the issue clearly is a precursor to healing it, and compassionate witnessing of the truth, however awful, leads to peace. So even if it leads to pain as well, so look at the truth beyond all the crumbling and let it lead you through your pain to peace. Even Jesus got this one right when he said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." You lean into the apocalypse by leaning into your own integrity, your own authenticity, your deepest felt sense of the truth. And then reveal that, be that, live in the light of your own authentic glow, and let everybody see it and be touched by it and encouraged to live their own authentic truth from a place of their integrity, and ripple and ripple and ripple until the world around us is one of integrity, authenticity, and peace. Because that, my friends, is the nature of reality, and it is the real truth. So we've seen signs in technology, in consciousness, in culture, in our institutions, all pointing to a massive collective reckoning and rebirth. Let's be part of it. If this resonated with you, and you think there's someone else in your circle who might benefit from hearing this, share it with them. And I'd love for you guys to like and subscribe. Until next Wednesday, peace, much love. I trust you, humanity. You've got this. See you in the next video. Bye.